The creator.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw it. We saw it. So, first off, spoilers for the
Complete
creator.
spoilers.
Yeah, all the spoilers for the creator.
The new creator. Apparently, there's
Right.
another one that Alexa told me about.
Yeah, from like 2014 or something.
Oh, she went away already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not that one. Not that one.
Not that one. No,
Uh,
that's you're on your own for spoilers for that one.
yeah.
But
Yeah. And then there's Tyler, the creator, in
right,
2014,
right.
who was arrested at South by for
Oh,
allegedly inciting a riot. Not talking about that.
for another day.
That maybe another day. Yeah, maybe that is intriguing.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but yeah. What did you think? I mean, I think we were both blown away by the visuals. Obviously.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
what a feast of
Yes.
visuals.
Yes.
From like the landscapes to like the every all the vehicles and um
Yep.
the individual bots and simulants and everything. Like everything just looked incredible.
It looked
Like
great. It looked
yeah,
great.
looked great.
And that's why I wanted to see it on the big screen. I actually went to the Bullock, the Bob Bullock IMAX theater, and biggest screen in town. It wasn't like shot for IMAX, so I don't know if that was necessary. But I think seeing it on a big screen is a good idea.
I think so. After
Yeah.
you saw it first and you said that to me, and I was like, because I'm like money's tight right now. I was like, oh, maybe I should just wait for it to come out. And I'm very glad I didn't wait. It's so honestly the best thing about it is the visuals. I think,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's very worth it
Yeah.
on big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, like, nothing but good things to say about the visuals.
right.
But like, should we talk about the story?
Let's talk about the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bring a lot of new things to the table as far as stories about robots and humans and robots interacting. Um, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's this movie and this movie and this movie.
Right.
And then as I was reading reviews of it, the reviews are like, it's this meets this meets this. And I'm like, great. And the movies that I said were different from the ones that the reviews said, but I was like,
Mm.
but none of us are wrong here. Like
Right.
every review mentioned the Golden Child. Uh,
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
sure, I get that.
The Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
where it's like yeah, the small Buddhist monk or whatever that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna save
Right.
humanity.
Right.
Um, the one that we had in common was Blade Runner. The reviews mentioned Blade Runner, and I was
Right.
like, Blade Runner. Yeah. But also I was like, this is Star Wars
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and um and Blade Runner and Apocalypse Now.
Yep.
Um and a little bit of Alien in
Yeah.
there. I was like, I what are we watching? Like
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and not even in like a subtle way. Like a lot of those droids, I was like, these are Star Wars droids.
Right. Right.
A lot of the big vehicles, I was like, these are Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like when we were like, oh yeah, you should see it on the big screen. I was like, yeah, in the way of like Star Wars, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars looks better on the big screen,
Yep.
and so does this because it's Star Wars.
Yep.
Like,
Well, and it was directed by Gareth Edwards,
mm-hmm.
who directed Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you know, it makes sense.
makes sense.
So it's hard to make anything original these days. And did you think that? I mean, usually, I guess the way that we try to make original things these days, it seems, is by doing this kind of thing, combining all of our influences into ideally something that rises above. Did you think that it rose above its source materials, or
I wouldn't say that. I don't think.
yeah?
I was not prepared for a Vietnam War movie
Mm,
going into this. I was like, the
yeah.
trailer is robots. So
Right.
I was ready for robots.
Right.
And there is no lack of robots in this, like, that appear on screen, but like, subject wise, it's not about like questions of robots. The most interesting thing it had to say was that really quick, to me, that really quick throwaway line about, hey, you know, that bomb that set off this whole thing, that was human error, but they blamed us for it. Can you
Mm-hmm.
believe it? And that's
Mm-hmm.
just like a quick line that's thrown around, and I'm like, that's the most interesting thing you have to say about robots,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
of like, oh yes, sure, the like implications of that, all of that, yeah, that's interesting. What I think, because I was trying to sort through this, and it's still, I just saw it last night, so it's still
Cool.
fresh, and I'm still thinking of like, this will evolve. But like,
Oh man. Yes. Spoilers. Right.
oh yeah, I mean, we already kind of did that, but
Oh, did
like,
we already spoil it? So
I
there
think
was just a
so.
question in the chat. Okay, so
Oh yes,
maybe not further spoilers beyond what we already did.
okay,
But no. Sorry.
okay. Well, no,
There's
I'll just be mindful of that then.
yeah.
Um, okay. The fact that, uh, like, there's so much about, like this is a Vietnam War movie,
Yeah.
and it the what feels slightly different about it than other Vietnam War movies is that it's very much the like war is hell, but not for the soldiers. Like, this does not focus on the American soldiers. It's a
Yeah.
lot more of the like, there's so many shots of like villagers running and people crying and like cradling body, like it's
Yeah.
in a way
Yeah.
that I was like, this is fucking me up, man. Like, I was not prepared for like
Mhm.
this level of emotional brutality, maybe.
Mhm.
um but also it is all of the same stereotypes
Yeah.
that we like, that like, it's a Vietnam War movie in that these are the same things we saw in 1969. Like,
Right.
they haven't evolved, other than that some of them are literally tech and robots and cyborgs, but like
Mhm.
wildly like stereotype reductionist
Yeah.
in a weird way. And so I'm like, okay, I like looking at these things in a like, okay, what's happening in the world right now? We have all these anxieties about AI taking over, like Chat GPT and all the like real world conversations going on about AI, that AI is too powerful, it's taking over, the robots are going to kill us, whatever.
Mhm.
Um you have this film that seems to posit that like, hey, we fucked up, like, let's just like, the war of American aggression is like this movie, like, it does not paint the American soldiers in a good light. It
Mhm.
does, like, they are absolutely the antagonists. um but also it's very like that reductionist techno orientalism of like, this all takes place in East Asia, or like New Asia as it's called, and everybody is either like a screaming villager like that was just in a rice paddy, or they are like a nameless faceless robot, um that like is, so techno orientalism gets into this thing of like, uh sort of uncanny valley thing of like, you're cold and emotionless, but so technologically advanced, is this sort of Western view of the East anyway. And they're like, so you mean robots?
Right.
Technologically advanced, but cold and emotionless. Um,
Right.
and so like that's happening. And then there's the like mysticism of the child, and like it just is like, ugh, territory.
Yeah.
also to do that in a time period where we this is fucking COVID, man. Like the amount of like AAPI hate that has been going around, and so you're gonna make a movie that like
Yeah.
like doesn't humanize, deliberately dehumanizes.
Yeah.
Like they're not the bad guys, but like they're not really people either. Like
Right.
it's this weird like ooh, I don't know what to do with all of that.
Right. And I
But
don't.
all of yeah, but those are all present things in this movie that I was like,
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. Well, Fearless Crystal Sword says, "You keep going. Life is too short to care about freaking spoilers." So.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
um, but yeah, yeah, it's like it doesn't even blink as it does all of that. So, you know, trigger warning, I guess. I don't know on all that. Like, but also if you want to see some amazing visuals, go see it in the theater, right? You would still recommend seeing it in the theater, right?
If you're gonna see it in theaters,
If you're
yeah.
gonna see it, it is more
Yeah.
of a war movie though than a robot movie. It feels like a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and again, this is from the director of A Star Wars Story, Rogue One. So, which also had some weird Orientalism things going on, I think, if I remember correctly. Rogue One specifically, but
I haven't seen it.
oh, you haven't seen that one. Oh, um, but did you have something else that? Well, actually, I mean, I was about to just swap topics. I'm sorry. It's bad, bad.
Look at
Uh,
you catching yourself.
uh,
What did you think? I mean, what was your like definitely the visuals, but like what were your
yeah.
other takeaways from the movie?
My big takeaway, I think, is that Jimmy Chan is like rules the robot verse, the cinematic television robo verse. She is everywhere in every robot media. She's in the Eternals
Yeah.
where she's a robot. She's in that TV show. No, I might have to look this up, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good, and she's like the lead in it. Anyway, she's like being typecast right now, and it's but she seems to be enjoying it, and I think she's good at it.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see her, out slightly outside of like being cast as a robot,
Right.
um, just around robots.
Round.
Yeah, I won't spoil that, but
I will say though that reveal,
mm-hmm,
I was like, man, like
sure.
as soon as the child appeared, I was like, 20
Oh,
bucks says,
uh, don't worry, darling. I consider that in the GenderBots universe.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Jimmy Chan's in that as well. Humans is the TV show.
Oh
Did
yes.
you see that?
I I haven't, but I'm like, but I think about it all the time.
Oh, really? You've not seen it, but you think about it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I should watch that.
And
It's
you're like,
so
why is
relevant.
that A upside down? What does it mean? Why is the A in humans upside down? Um, yeah, it's pretty good. I think I watched at least all of season one of it, and yeah, I should go back to it.
Yeah,
She's also in Transformers. I mean, she's like,
damn,
you know,
she's doing it.
Queen of Robots.
Queen of
Uh,
Robots. Good for her.
but yeah, I mean, yeah. But again, like I was mostly in it for the visuals, and I was not disappointed. The beautiful, all the technology, the cities, the landscapes, all great.
Yes.
And yeah, and I had that feeling of like when you're watching something that's trying to be an original property these
Mhm.
days of like, oh yeah, we're taking Blade Runner, we're taking plot elements from The Matrix, and which took plot elements from that book that they stole from, and like we're just taking all the things we can
Hmm.
and Apocalypse Now, and just mashing them up and seeing what we got, but not that necessarily there was really thought beyond that of like
Hmm.
what they're actually saying. It seemed like they just said what everybody else has said. Like with all those source materials, it was the amalgam meaning also
Hmm.
from all those source materials, which is muddy, which just kind of left me with a kind of a muddy meaning feeling. I didn't. It's funny. I didn't even think about the Golden Child, but of course it's Golden Child. Like
Yeah.
that is. I knew it was something else, and that's the one. Um, but it ultimately, like, the story felt like kind of just this. Man, like, I guess a little disappointing. Like
Yeah.
standard robot stuff. Yeah, like nothing new. But the visuals were worth it. Made it worth it to
The
me. I
visuals.
I was very I liked it. I liked it. I almost said I loved it. I loved the visuals. I did.
Love the.
Um, but yeah,
Well,
I
and
don't.
I do think that like in talking about the visuals, that like a thing that I love in robot media is how robots move. Um, we watched the credits,
Yes.
which were so long, um, but there was a whole like rotoscoping department,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know if that's like standard practice these days, or it's like, well,
Mm.
there's always like some rotoscoping, but like knowing that that was there was really delightful. And then I was kind of thinking back and trying to be like, oh, like which ones do you think? And like a lot of the sort of generic cop robots that were like very clearly humans who had like put a robot head on in post or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wonder if those were the like, I don't know. It just like that was fun to think about. Um,
Yeah.
what is the name of there's like a term for like a type of droid in Star Wars.
Ooh.
It's like it's like a trash can moving around or something. It's like a junk bot, but it's called like a Gronk or something. It's got like some name. I have seen people cosplay as this type of bot.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, probably like it's not an R2 unit. It's
No, it's got like its own sort of classification.
yeah.
But like I say this because the big like trash can landmine things
Yeah.
that are like, it's an honor to serve you. Cthulhu, Cthulhu, Cthulhu,
Oh, that
Cthulhu.
was great.
It's
Yeah.
like, the fuck is this?
That was great. That was
it,
hilarious. I love that moment.
it was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're not just junk bots, junk droids.
They have some Star Wars name for it.
Okay. I'm seeing
It's like
junk titan, junk golem. Whoa.
it's something like junk or like
Techno beast.
no, it's
Whoa.
got some like plant kind of name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plant. Anybody out
Like it's
there?
like
Anybody out
it's like
there?
plonk or like
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Like, is it a particular droid that you're talking about whose
It's
name
a
is
type
Plonk?
of
Or the.
no, it's a
Okay.
type of droid, like sort of like a red shirt in Star Trek
Yeah.
of like, oh, that counts as like a red shirt character. It's like there's a bunch of like background droids that like count as that kind of droid,
Gotcha.
but I don't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, but like
Yeah.
that's
I'm not a Star Wars expert.
sure, 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 sure.
I
Um,
I
I was
know.
thinking about that. I'm like I hang out with a lot of Star Wars people. I'm
Yeah.
not a Star Wars person. Like I hear about it. So like I like last year at Convergence there was some kid dressed as this type of droid,
Yeah.
and my friends were like, "Oh my god, delightful! This is so lovely." And I was like, "Cool,
Yeah.
good for them."
I,
But he
I
was in like he had like built it out of a trash can or something. Like it was very. Let me see if I can.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Look it up while I get the next slide ready. But I mean, anything else to say about the creator before we move on? I think
Well,
just a
the only
quick
other thing I wanted to say about it was that right? Gonk? Gonk.
gonk.
I think it's gonk.
Oh, like with an F at the end?
Gonk. Gonk.
G
Like
O N
bonk, but it's just like a box.
Gonk, Star Wars.
It's a trash
Oh,
can.
it's literally just a trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, love those guys. Let me.
Yeah. Okay. That's yeah. They're okay. So I guess they're power droids, but they've sort of become this like memed thing of like you're a trash can.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
They're power. Oh, they're for charging or something or
yeah. They say they're power droids.
oh, power droids.
I don't really know.
Power
Like I
droids.
guess so. The only other thing I wanted to say about the Apocalypse Now thing is
Oh
that
yeah.
like partly it's Apocalypse Now because it's a war movie, but
Mm-hmm.
also the soundtrack. Like
Yes. Oh, thank you
that
for bringing that up. Yeah.
that have like that first it stopped doing it like at some point in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um but like that like the whole first like half or third or something was like hitting these hard like pop hits uh
Yes. It
in a very
was.
yeah.
It was basically. I mean, a good reason to just go to a movie theater and watch uh, basically a Radiohead music video. There were at
Was
least like two or three covers of Radiohead songs on that soundtrack.
that was so good. But like and like all of them were so good.
Yeah, and they
Like
sound
that
great.
was
Yeah,
they sound great. That was
yeah.
such the right choice that I
Mm-hmm.
and like every time I like audibly was like, oh yes. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kid A. I think
yeah.
I that I wouldn't say it took me out, but like I thought about the last time I saw that on the big screen when that came on. I was like, oh, remember Vanilla Sky? Which is another movie that I don't know if we've talked about, but we could talk about. You know,
I would have to rewatch it because it's
yeah,
been but yeah.
it's you know, it's on our it should be
It's
on our radar. Yeah,
relevant. Relevant
yeah,
to our interests. Yeah.
yeah. I had to show real quick. This is the gonk I'm showing on the stream.
Yay.
That's the gonk. Little more than walking batteries, gonk powered droids. I can't speak. Gonk powered droids trundle along as directed by their owners or their programming, recharging vehicles and machinery. They get their name in imitation of their simple vocalizations. Gonk. Many different models of powered droid, most of them similar in appearance and habits as the well known Gonk. Power droids are common sights throughout the galaxy and little noticed despite their critical importance to both military and civilian life. I had no idea that was a power droid, so that's now we know. I thought it was a trash can.
Yes. Because it
Yeah,
is.
it is. And it's got some very Doctor Who-y vibes. Like
Mm,
it's just a trash can with legs.
yep. Which
Yep.
is also tickles me because when Oscar the Grouch is like shown walking around, it's a trash can with legs.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm like, great, good,
Very good. Very good.
very good, very good.
Well, cool. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't have much else to say about the movie. I mean, I still think people should see it. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
If they're, if they want to sit through a bit of a war movie.
I just I feel like the trailer does not prepare you
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot more because it hits all of the moments where they're like, I want robots to be free and like this like I thought it was going to be a lot more about ethics of
Right.
robots and humans. Oh, that's okay, one last thing I'll say about it. I I thought that there was going to be a lot more of that also because our main guy has prosthetic limbs and
Mm.
like even though he adopts the military perspective of those aren't real people, like it is on its way, not he, she, they, whatever. Like,
Right.
but I'm like, but you are part tech, and the military is still employing
Yeah.
tech that it stole from Alien. Um, like,
Yeah. I did think that was going to come into play a little bit more as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that it just sort of didn't ever talk about.
Mm-hmm. Another one of the sort of the same feeling of like let's make sure all this makes it into the movie.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that our protagonist is this, and that we have this, and references to all these things, and
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, but then without really a plan for
It,
how
yeah.
to best use them or how to further any conversations. But
I think it could have done a lot more with what it did.